Your silence is more powerful than your announcement. Let me say that again, because most of you missed it while you were busy posting your dreams on social media. Your silence is more powerful than your announcement. You see, there's a reason why pregnant women don't announce their pregnancy on day one. They wait, they protect, they cover what's growing inside until it's strong enough to survive the outside world. But you're out here announcing seeds before they even break through the soil. You're celebrating the idea before you've done the work. You're shouting vision to people who don't have your eyes, and then you wonder why your dream died. Listen to me very carefully. There are 5 things you must never share with anyone. Not with your best friend, not with your family, not with your co-workers, not with people who smile in your face and doubt you behind your back. These 5 things are sacred. They are seeds planted in the garden of your future, and if you expose them too early to the wrong climate, they will never grow. They will be trampled, criticized, doubted, poisoned, and stolen before they ever had a chance to become what they were meant to be. The first thing you must never share with anyone is your next move. Stop telling people what you're about to do. Stop announcing every plan, every strategy, every idea that comes into your spirit. Do you know why the enemy can't stop what he doesn't see coming? Because surprise is a weapon. Silence is strategy. The lion doesn't announce that he's hunting. He moves in silence. He watches. He waits. And when the moment is right, he strikes. But you out here roaring before the hunt even begins. You're telling the prey exactly where you're coming from and exactly what you're about to do. How do you expect to catch anything when you've already warned everybody? Let me tell you something about warfare. Real warriors don't reveal their position. Real generals don't announce their next attack. Real champions don't post their training routine for the competition to study. They move in silence. They work in secret. They build in the dark. And when the world finally sees them, it's too late. The victory is already won. The success is already built. The dream is already walking and talking and breathing, but not you. You told everybody. You announced it at the dinner table. You posted it on your timeline. You shared your 5-year plan with people who can't even see past Friday. And now you're confused about why there's so much opposition. Now you're wondering why people are suddenly acting funny. Now you're surprised that your own circle is doubting you. Let me tell you why. Because announcement attracts attention, and attention attracts opinion, and opinion attracts doubt, and doubt attracts fear, and fear attracts failure. You opened the door to voices that had no business speaking into your future. You invited criticism into a vision that wasn't even fully formed yet. You gave people permission to judge a building that was still just a blueprint in your mind. Stop doing that. Your next move is between you and your Creator. Your next step is between you and your purpose. Your next season is between you and the promise that was spoken over your life before you were even born. Keep it there. Protect it. Guard it. Because the moment you announce it, you give away your power. You release the energy that was supposed to fuel your execution. You trade momentum for validation. And validation from people who don't understand your assignment is the fastest way to abort your destiny. The second thing you must never share with anyone is your level of income or your financial status. Money is a magnet. It attracts 2 kinds of people. Those who want to take from you and those who want to judge you. Neither one will help you grow. When you tell people you're doing well, suddenly everybody needs something. Suddenly everybody has an emergency. Suddenly your inbox is full of people who disappeared when you were struggling but showed up the moment you started succeeding. They didn't love you. They loved your resources. They didn't celebrate you. They celebrated what they could get from you. And if you tell people you're struggling, they'll use it against you. They'll remind you of it every time you try to rise. They'll throw it in your face when you start talking about dreams. They'll say, you can't even pay your rent, but you want to start a business? They'll use your current position to disqualify your future potential. They'll measure your worth by your wallet instead of your vision. But here's what they don't understand. Wealth isn't just about money. Wealth is wisdom. Wealth is health. Wealth is peace. Wealth is purpose. Wealth is potential. And some of the richest people on earth are still broke in their spirit. They have everything except the one thing that matters. They have possessions but no purpose. They have accounts but no assignment. They have riches but no revelation about why they're even here. So stop measuring yourself by what's in your bank and start measuring yourself by what's in your heart. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Stop sharing your financial situation with people who don't understand the journey you're on. Because the moment you do, you'll either attract jealousy or you'll attract pity. And both of them will kill your progress. Keep your financial life private. Let your work speak. Let your results reveal. Let your consistency tell the story. And when the blessing comes, when the breakthrough manifests, when the overflow starts pouring into your life, don't announce it. Live it. Walk in it. Steward it. Because the people who are supposed to see it will see it without you saying a word. And the people who aren't supposed to know don't need to know. The third thing you must never share with anyone is your good deeds and acts of kindness. This one is going to hurt because most of you help people just so you can talk about it later. You give so you can post. You serve so you can be seen. You bless so you can brag. And that's not kindness, that's marketing. Real generosity doesn't need an audience. Real compassion doesn't need a camera. Real love doesn't need a like button. When you announce your good deeds, you cancel your reward. You trade heavenly credit for earthly applause. You exchange eternal recognition for temporary validation. And that applause you're chasing, it fades. Those likes you're counting, they disappear. Those comments you're reading, they'll be forgotten by tomorrow. But the reward that was stored up for you in secret, that lasts forever. When you announce your good deeds, you cancel your reward. You trade heavenly credit for earthly applause. You exchange eternal recognition for temporary validation. That applause you're chasing, it fades. Those likes you're counting, they disappear by tomorrow. But the reward stored up for you in secret, that lasts forever. You can't help someone without posting about it. You can't bless someone without tagging them. You can't serve without making sure everybody knows. And then you wonder why your harvest isn't coming. It's because you already got paid. The likes were your wages. The comments were your compensation. You chose temporary fame over eternal favor. Stop announcing your kindness. Stop advertising your generosity. Do good in secret and watch how your life changes in public. Help people when no one is looking and watch how opportunities show up when everyone is watching. Bless in the dark and watch how you get blessed in the light, because what you do in secret, the universe sees. What you sow in silence, life will amplify with sound. The fourth thing you must never share with anyone is your personal problems and family issues. Everybody doesn't need to know your business. Everybody doesn't deserve access to your pain. Everybody doesn't have the wisdom to handle your wounds. You're out here trauma dumping on people who don't even have the emotional capacity to carry your story. You're venting to people who are going to turn around and gossip about what you just shared. You're exposing your family to people who will judge them without ever meeting them. Stop doing that. Your problems are not public property. Your struggles are not entertainment. Your pain is not content. And the moment you share with the wrong person, you give them ammunition to use against you later. They'll smile with you today and slander you tomorrow. They'll hug you in the moment and humiliate you in the conversation. They'll act concerned when you're talking, but they'll be laughing when you leave. Not everyone who listens is your friend. Not everyone who asks is your ally. Some people just want information so they can feel better about their own dysfunction. Some people just want to know your chaos so they can feel comfortable in their own confusion. They don't want to help you. They want to judge you. They don't want to lift you. They want to label you. So be selective. Be wise. Be discerning. Share your struggles with people who have the maturity to pray for you, not the immaturity to post about you. Share your family issues with people who have the integrity to keep it confidential, not the insecurity to turn it into gossip. Share your pain with people who have healing in their hands, not poison on their tongues. And some things, don't share them at all. Some battles are meant to be fought in private. Some wars are meant to be won in silence. Some seasons are meant to be survived without an audience. Because not everything needs to be explained. Not everything needs to be understood. Not everything needs to be validated by people who weren't even there. Your story is yours. Your struggle is yours. Your survival is yours. And when you come out on the other side, when you walk into your victory, when you step into your next level, the people who need to know will know. And the people who don't, it won't matter. The fifth thing you must never share with anyone is your vision and your big dreams. This is the one that will cost you everything if you don't protect it. Your vision is the blueprint of your future. Your dream is the seed of your destiny. And if you plant that seed in the wrong soil, it will never grow. It will be criticized, mocked, doubted, and dismissed by people who don't have the capacity to see what you see. You see, vision is expensive. It costs you comfort. It costs you convenience. It costs you the approval of small-minded people. And when you share that vision with people who are still thinking small, they will try to shrink your dream to fit their reality. They will try to reduce your calling to match their comfort zone. They will try to convince you that what you're seeing is impossible because they've never seen it done before. But let me tell you something about vision. Vision is always given to one person first, not a committee, not a crowd, not a conference. One person. And that one person is responsible for protecting it until it's strong enough to be revealed. Noah didn't take a vote before he built the ark. Moses didn't ask for opinions before he led the people. David didn't need permission before he faced Goliath. They saw something. They believed something. And they moved on it while everybody else was still sleeping. Your vision doesn't need validation. It needs execution. Your dream doesn't need approval. It needs action. And the moment you start sharing it with people who don't have the same fire, you'll feel your passion start to fade. You'll start doubting. You'll start questioning. You'll start shrinking. Because their unbelief is contagious. Their fear is transferable. Their limitations will become your prison if you let them speak too long. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. Someone gets a download from the heavens, a business idea, a ministry call, a creative project, a life-changing vision. And they're so excited they run out and tell everybody, their family, their friends, their co-workers. And within 48 hours, the dream is dead. Why? Because 10 people who never built anything told them it wouldn't work. 5 people who never risked anything told them it was too dangerous. 3 people who never believed in themselves told them to be realistic. And now that person is stuck, living below their potential, working a job they hate, surviving instead of thriving, all because they shared their seed with people who didn't know how to water it. Don't let that be you. Protect your vision like you protect your child. Guard your dream like you guard your life. Keep it close. Keep it covered. Keep it between you and the one who gave it to you. And when the time is right, when the preparation is complete, when the foundation is solid, then you reveal it. Not before, not for applause, not for validation, but because it's ready. Because you're ready. Because the world is ready to receive what you've been building in secret. Now, let me tell you why these 5 things matter so much. Because silence is the womb of creation. Everything that was ever built, everything that was ever born, everything that was ever manifested started in secret. The baby grows in the womb, hidden and protected until it's time to be revealed. The seed grows underground, covered and concealed, until it's strong enough to break through. The butterfly transforms in the cocoon, isolated and alone, until it's ready to fly. You are no different. Your next level is forming right now in the secret place. Your breakthrough is developing right now in the silence. Your harvest is growing right now in the hidden season. But if you expose it too soon, if you announce it too early, if you invite the wrong voices into the process, you will abort what was supposed to be born. So stop talking, start moving, stop announcing, start building, stop seeking approval, start walking in obedience. Because the people who are meant to celebrate you will celebrate you when it's done. And the people who are meant to join you will join you when it's time. But right now, in this season, In this moment, your job is not to convince. Your job is not to explain. Your job is to execute. Work in silence. Let success make the noise. I want to tell you something that might change your entire perspective. You were not born by accident. You were not a mistake. You were not a coincidence. You were designed, crafted, formed with intention and purpose. Before you took your first breath, there was already a plan attached to your life. Before you opened your eyes, there was already a path laid out for you. Before you spoke your first word, there was already a message placed inside you that the world is waiting to hear, but somewhere along the way, you forgot. You started listening to the voices around you instead of the voice inside you. You started believing what people said about you instead of what was spoken over you. You started measuring your worth by their standards instead of your design. And now you're living below your potential, beneath your purpose, outside your assignment. And it's time to come back. It's time to remember who you are, not who they said you were, not who your past said you were, not who your mistakes said you were, but who you were created to be, the original you, the authentic you, the purposed you, the you that was designed before the world was formed. And that version of you, that version doesn't need permission, doesn't need approval, doesn't need validation from people who don't even know their own purpose. That version of you is bold, confident, focused, unstoppable. That version of you doesn't share every move because that version understands that silence is strategy. That version doesn't announce every plan because that version knows that surprise is power. That version doesn't seek validation because that version is already validated by the one who created you. So let me ask you a question. Are you living as the original or the copy? Are you walking in your truth or their opinion? Are you building your dream or their expectation? Because you can't do both. You can't serve two masters. You can't please people and fulfill purpose at the same time. One of them has to die. And I'm telling you right now, let it be their opinion. Let it be their doubt. Let it be their limitation. Because your life is too valuable to waste trying to convince people who are already convinced that you can. Your time is too precious to spend explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. Your energy is too important to invest in relationships that drain you instead of propel you. Cut the cord. Close the door. Move on. Not out of bitterness, not out of anger, but out of clarity, out of focus, out of a deep understanding that your assignment is bigger than their approval. You have work to do. You have lives to touch. You have generations to impact. You have a legacy to build. And you can't do any of that while you're busy posting your plans, announcing your moves, sharing your income, advertising your kindness, and exposing your problems to people who will never understand. So here's what I want you to do. Starting today, practice the power of silence. Practice the discipline of discretion. Keep your next move to yourself. Keep your finances private. Keep your good deeds secret. Keep your problems sacred. Keep your vision protected. And watch what happens. Watch how your life begins to shift. Watch how your progress begins to accelerate. Because when you stop leaking your power through your mouth, when you stop seeking validation from people who can't even validate themselves, you become unstoppable. You become the lion that moves in silence. You become the seed that grows in secret. You become the warrior that wins in the dark and celebrates in the light. You become the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. And let me tell you something about that version. That version doesn't need a crowd to believe. That version doesn't need a stage to perform. That version doesn't need a microphone to speak. Because that version's life is the message. That version's results are the testimony. That version's success is the sermon. So stop preaching and start living. Stop talking and start building. Stop announcing and start achieving. Because the world doesn't need another announcement. The world needs another example. The world doesn't need another talker. The world needs another walker. The world doesn't need another dreamer who just dreams. The world needs another doer who does. And you were born to be that person. You were created to be that example. You were designed to be that testimony. Not someday, not one day, today, right now, in this moment, with what you have, where you are, with no permission, no applause, no validation, just you, your purpose, and the courage to move in silence until success makes the noise. So I'm going to leave you with this. Protect your seed, guard your soil, watch your circle, steward your silence, because everything you're praying for, everything you're believing for, everything you're working for is on the other side of your obedience. And sometimes obedience looks like shutting your mouth and opening your hands. Sometimes obedience looks like closing social media and opening your Bible. Sometimes obedience looks like disconnecting from the crowd and reconnecting with your Creator. Do that. And when you do, when you finally embrace the power of silence, when you finally understand that your announcement is not as powerful as your execution, when you finally realize that you don't owe anyone an explanation for the vision that was placed inside you, that's when everything changes. That's when doors start opening. That's when opportunities start flowing. That's when people start noticing. Not because you told them, but because they see the fruit. Not because you announced it, but because you built it. Not because you posted it, but because you lived it. And that, my friend, is the goal. Not to be known, but to be effective. Not to be famous, but to be faithful. Not to be celebrated, but to be complete. Walking in your full purpose. Operating in your full potential. Living the life you were created to live. So go, move, build, execute in silence, in secret, in faith. And let the world discover what you've been creating when the time is right. Because the best revelations don't need a press release. They just need a willing vessel who was bold enough to believe, brave enough to build, and wise enough to stay silent until the work was done. Your time is now. Your season is here. Your moment has come. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now. So stop reading and start doing. Stop listening and start living. Stop waiting for permission and start walking in your purpose. Because you were born for this. Not by accident, by design. And everything you need to succeed is already inside you. You just have to protect it long enough for it to grow. Now go and remember, silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom. And wisdom always wins. But let me go deeper with you, because some of you are still holding on to something that's killing you slowly. You're holding on to the need to be understood. You're holding on to the desire to be seen. You're holding on to the addiction of being acknowledged. And that addiction is the very thing that's keeping you from your destiny. Listen to me carefully. Not everyone is supposed to understand you. Not everyone is equipped to see you. Not everyone has the spiritual capacity to acknowledge what you carry. And when you spend your life trying to make them understand, trying to make them see, trying to make them acknowledge, you waste the very time that was given to you to build. You think you're sharing your vision to inspire them. But what you're really doing is asking for permission. You think you're talking about your dreams to motivate others. But what you're really doing is seeking validation. You think you're explaining your purpose to create connection. But what you're really doing is delaying your execution. And delay is just another word for disobedience. Because when the vision comes, when the download drops, when the assignment is clear, you're not supposed to call a meeting. You're not supposed to take a poll. You're not supposed to gather opinions. You're supposed to move immediately, swiftly, obediently, without hesitation, without explanation, without the need for everyone to agree. Do you know what happens to people who wait for everyone to believe before they start building? They never build. Do you know what happens to people who need their family's approval before they follow their calling? They never follow. Do you know what happens to people who can't move until their friends understand? They never move. They die with their music still inside them. They go to the grave with their book still unwritten. They leave this earth with their business still just an idea. They exit this life with their potential still untapped. And it's not because they didn't have the ability, it's because they needed the approval more than they needed the accomplishment. Let me tell you about a grave. A grave is the richest place on earth. Do you know why? Because buried in that ground are books that were never written, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never started, inventions that were never created, movements that were never launched. All because the person who carried them couldn't move past the need for validation. They had everything they needed except the courage to move in silence. They had the vision, but not the discipline. They had the dream, but not the discretion. They had the calling, but not the confidence to walk alone. Don't let that be your story. See, every great person who ever lived had to face a moment where they had to choose between the crowd and the call, between popularity and purpose, between acceptance and assignment. And the ones who chose the call, they're the ones we're still talking about. The ones who chose the crowd, we don't even remember their names. Moses chose the call over the comfort of the palace. Joseph chose the call over the convenience of staying bitter in prison. David chose the call over the criticism of his own brothers. Esther chose the call over the safety of staying silent. Every single one of them had to make a decision. And they all chose purpose over people. Now it's your turn. What are you going to choose? Are you going to keep living for the applause, or are you going to start living for the assignment? Are you going to keep posting for likes, or are you going to start building for legacy? Are you going to keep talking about what you're going to do, or are you finally going to do it? Because here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you. Talking is easy. Building is hard. Announcing is comfortable. Executing is costly. Sharing your plans makes you feel productive. Actually working on them in silence requires sacrifice. And most people choose easy over effective. Most people choose comfortable over costly. Most people choose the feeling of productivity over the reality of progress. That's why most people are stuck. That's why most people are frustrated. That's why most people are watching other people live the life they dreamed about. Because those other people stopped talking and started working. They stopped announcing and started building. They stopped seeking permission and started walking in purpose. They disconnected from the crowd, connected with their creator, and committed to the process even when nobody was watching. And you know what happened? While everyone else was posting about their goals, they were achieving them. While everyone else was talking about their dreams, they were living them. While everyone else was waiting for the right time, they were creating it. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Dreamers need an audience. Doers need an assignment. Dreamers need validation. Doers need a vision. Dreamers need people to believe in them. Doers need to believe in themselves and the one who called them. So which one are you? And before you answer, let me tell you something that might sting a little bit. If you've been talking about the same dream for 5 years and you still haven't started, you're not a dreamer. You're a talker. If you've been announcing the same vision for 3 years and you still haven't taken action, you don't have a vision problem. You have an execution problem. If you've been waiting for people to support your idea and nobody's supporting it, maybe it's because the idea was never meant for them. Maybe it was meant for you to do alone. Stop waiting for a team that's never coming. Stop waiting for resources that you already have. Stop waiting for the perfect time that doesn't exist. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start with a little bit of faith that's left. Start with a small step that you keep avoiding. Start with the uncomfortable conversation that you keep delaying. Just start, because momentum doesn't come from planning. Momentum comes from moving. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. Clarity comes from doing. Confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. Confidence comes from trying something. You've been overthinking for too long. You've been over planning for too long. You've been oversharing for too long. And now it's time to move. In silence, in secret, in faith, trusting that the same God who gave you the vision will give you the provision. Trusting that the same source that planted the seed will send the rain. Trusting that the same power that called you will equip you. But you got to take the first step. Nobody can take it for you. Nobody can believe it for you. Nobody can build it for you. This is your race, your assignment, your moment. And it's waiting for you to stop talking and start walking. Now, let me address something that some of you are feeling right now. You're thinking, but what if I fail? What if I try and it doesn't work? What if I give it everything and still fall short? And to that I say, what if you succeed? What if you try and it works beyond your wildest imagination? What if you give it everything and you discover you had more inside you than you ever knew? You see, fear always asks the negative what if, but faith asks the positive what if. Fear focuses on what you might lose. Faith focuses on what you might gain. Fear keeps you paralyzed. Faith keeps you moving. And the only way to overcome fear is to do the thing you're afraid of. So do it afraid, build it afraid, start it afraid, launch it afraid. But don't let fear be the reason you never tried. Don't let doubt be the reason you never started. Don't let other people's opinions be the reason you never stepped into your purpose. Because at the end of your life, you won't regret the things you tried and failed at. You'll regret the things you never tried at all. You won't regret the risks you took. You'll regret the opportunities you ignored. You won't regret the times you moved in faith. You'll regret the times you stayed in fear. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you looking back at your life with regret. I don't want you sitting in your old age wondering what could have been. I don't want you telling the next generation to follow their dreams when you never followed yours. I want you to be the testimony. I want you to be the example. I want you to be the proof that it's possible, that ordinary people can do extraordinary things, that broken people can build beautiful things, that hurt people can heal and then help others heal, that lost people can find their way and then light the path for others. But it starts with you protecting what matters. It starts with you guarding your seed. It starts with you moving in silence until your success makes the noise. It starts with you valuing your vision more than you value their validation. It starts with you choosing purpose over popularity, assignment over approval, and obedience over opinions. And when you do that, when you finally make that decision, when you finally take that step, when you finally commit to the process, everything changes. The universe conspires in your favor. Doors open that you didn't even knock on. People show up that you didn't even call. Resources appear that you didn't even ask for. Because when you honor the process honors you. When you protect the vision protects you. When you move in faith, faith moves mountains for you. So this is your moment. This is your time. This is your season. Not because everything is perfect, not because you have it all figured out, not because everyone believes in you, but because you're alive, because you're breathing, because you still have time, because the dream is still inside you, because the vision is still calling you, because the purpose is still pulling you. And all you have to do is respond, not with words, with action, not with announcements, with movement, not with explanations, with execution. Stop sharing, start building. Stop talking, start doing, stop seeking, start becoming. Because the person you're meant to be is waiting on the other side of your obedience. The life you're meant to live is waiting on the other side of your courage. The legacy you're meant to leave is waiting on the other side of your commitment. So go build it in silence, in secret, in faith. And when the time is right, when the work is done, when the foundation is solid, then you can share it. Then you can celebrate it. Then you can show the world what you built when nobody was watching. That's when your testimony becomes powerful. That's when your story becomes undeniable. That's when your life becomes the sermon that inspires the next generation to do the same. You were born for this, not by chance, by design. Now go prove it